All right, so here we are over on my desktop, and the first thing you want to do is open up your internet browser and copy the link from the top of the description of this video and paste it over in your browser, or you can just go and type in santralmedia.com/Wix. That way we can make sure that we all start from the same page. So santralmedia.com/Wix, hit enter. That'll redirect you to this page right here. And don't be alarmed if Wix tends to change the image every now and then. It might not be this little mountain picture here, but the point is that in the middle, you should see a Start Now button. So we're going to click on that, and that'll bring us over to the login page. Now, assuming you don't already have an account, what we want to do is actually sign up for a new one. So I'm just going to click sign up. You can sign up with Facebook or with Google if you want, but I'm just going to make my own email and password sign up right now to log in. Definitely remember these. You will need them every time you sign in to work on your website. So I'm just going to type in tutorials@santralmedia.com. We're going to create a password and then continue on to the next screen. Just click sign up. And once we go to the next screen, this is where we are really going to start. It's going to ask us a lot of questions. It's going to ask us about what kind of website we're trying to make. So just say get started for this one. And then it's going to ask like how big our business is, stuff like that. So the first one, what do you want to create a website for? It doesn't really matter which one you choose. I'm going to go with myself just because obviously I'm making this just for a personal portfolio or whatever it might be. But again, it doesn't really matter which one you choose. Similarly, if you've never created a website before, obviously say it's your first time, but it's just going to really control what kind of feedback it's giving you. And then this is really where it starts to matter a little bit. But again, we can change all this later on. So you want to type in essentially what type of website you're trying to make. And I recommend being as specific as possible. So if you are making, I'm going to make a coffee shop in this video. And if you type coffee shop, you'll see that we have tons and tons of different ones. A coffee fan club, coffee food truck, coffee brewing course, like tons of options. And similarly, if you have like a food truck, I would recommend not just saying restaurant, but really looking for something as specific as possible, because it will help you find the right template in a second. Now, when we get to this page, this is where a lot of people tend to kind of derail. A lot of people end up using the Wix ADI creator. That is not what I recommend. It is faster and easier to make your website at first, but in the long run, you lose a lot of the customization that you have when you actually go and choose your own template. So I'm not going to use the ADI creator. Instead, we're going to click over here on the right side where it says choose a template, just because, like I said, you're going to get a lot more freedom, a lot more customization, as you're definitely going to see throughout this video. So make sure you click on choose a template. And then here is what I was saying a minute ago, where it doesn't matter if you say coffee truck, coffee shop, whatever. It's just going to help you find a template right here. So these are all ones that are supposed to be relevant to a coffee shop. Like a shave shop, it seems like it might not be relevant, but if you really think about it, it's probably going to have very similar pages. Same thing like an About Us page and everything like that is going to be pretty similar. But of course, like I said, if you change your mind and you don't like the coffee shop ones, you could search on the top right, or you can go down and search by category as well. So you could go and check out like a business one, maybe a real estate one, whatever you're looking for. And honestly, any one of these could be completely customized to anything you want. It just helps a lot if you choose something that's relevant to what you're looking for. So cafe and bakery is similar, but none of them really look the way I want them to. So if we just go back to the coffee shop ones, type in coffee shop on the top right there, and that'll bring us down here. So we can see that out of all of these, there are tons and tons of different options. There's like 20-something pages of these, as you'll see when I get down to the bottom. But you can look at each individual one. And the whole point is you really want to be looking at like the font, the layout of it. Don't worry about the pictures as much, because you can customize all of those later on. But like the color scheme is going to be important. And all of this is really just going to save you a lot of work. As you see on the top right, you could also go from a blank template, but I'm going to try to find a good one. So let's go down, see which other ones we have right here. So we have local artisan coffee, looks all right. Again, that barbershop. And then let's go to the next page and see what else we have. And it looks like this one, I like this one right here. This catches my eye. So that's important. I might want to, I don't see anything else on this page. Let's go to this one. So we can click on view for any one of these. And when you go to view, you can either edit right now, or you can go to a full demo. The full demo gives you kind of an interactive, like the full website experience. So you have that nice parallax image on the top. I like that. As we go down, you have, I really like this section, kind of like an hour story, I think is what I would do with that. I like this video. And then going down, honestly, this all looks really nice. I like this layout a lot. So when you find one that you really do like, you can just go up to the top right, click on edit this site, and that'll bring us over to the editor. This is where everything really starts to happen. And like I said before, guys, it doesn't matter which template you choose. It will make it easier if you choose a good one. So we're going to close out of this right here. And now this is the layout. This is everything we're going to be doing for the majority of this video. But to give you guys an idea of what we're dealing with here, in the middle, this is your website. This is essentially your live website, what it's going to look like as you scroll around it. The only thing you can't do is click on buttons. It's not going to interact in that way because it is in the editing mode, unless you go over to publish and preview that. But when you're looking at this, we can move things around, we can adjust things, and do all kinds of stuff like that. Now, that's everything in the middle. Now, the top and the left side are really how we are able to edit everything. So starting off with the very top on the left side, we have our drop-down menu for the pages. And so this is going to be like, right now we have a menu, ordering online, and contacting us. Those are like the 3 pages that it shows right there. So if we go up to the top, well, first of all, that's going to show up in the header. That's your navigation bar. But if you go to the pages on the top, you can switch between them because as you can see, like I said, it's not actually an interactive website in the editor. So if you want to switch pages, you have to do this from the top here. So if we just want to switch back to the home page, and we can start editing this in a second, but as we go over to the right, you'll see that we do have the switch to mobile option. This is the next really important thing, and I really can't stress this enough. So first, let's skip this. We don't need that. But this is going to be really important. So a ton of your visitors, especially if you're like a restaurant or a coffee shop, are going to be visiting on mobile. For me, from my websites, I've seen somewhere around 50 to 60% of people are actually visiting from a phone or a tablet. So you want to make sure throughout this the creation process, you want to make your website on the desktop mode, and then come over here and view it and manage it and make sure everything's looking good on the mobile editor. So you want to make sure that like the text is not cut off, images don't look weird, and it's just going to be a good website. In general, Wix does a good job of translating that. But then when we go over across the top bar, we do also have, when you go to site, you can go to your site history. This is great if you're trying to roll something back. If you screwed something up and you want to undo it, you can do that right there. Then we go over to settings. You have some really important things here, some really big stuff for your website in general. So like connecting a domain, getting a mailbox. So if you want a Gmail that's not, or like really any email that's going to be like at your domain, you can do that. You can upgrade that. And we'll talk on all of these later on in the video. Going down here, we have SEO. Again, I'll talk about this later on in the video as well. Then we have our icon for your browser. This is something that's really important. I actually want to do this right now before we continue, before we get down to the bottom things. But I mean, just to kind of summarize them, you have like your business info down here, social sharing, stuff like that. But let's go back and actually add the icon right now. I think it's going to make us actually publish our site first or save the website. But to clarify what I'm talking about, if you look on the top right here, you can see where it says like the Wix logo right there. That's going to be essentially what we're trying to add, an icon on the browser so that people know what website they're on. Now, we're going to have to choose a domain. This is just temporary for now with the free domain. Eventually, we will be upgrading this. So starting off right here, we want to just start maybe Central Coffee Shop is what I'm going to call this, just to name the website really. And that's going to give it a place to save it and publish it for now until we upgrade this and get our own domain. Now, looking at this, we're going to add, let's go back up here and add our icon. And it's going to bring us into a little editor right here where we can upload our own image. So you'll see as we scroll down, upload image. So we're going to click upload image, and it's going to bring us into our upload media file. So we can upload our own media, upload from computer. And, you know, just to save time for the rest of this video, I'm going to upload all of the images I have for this website, and then I'll select just one in a second. But uploading all of these at once does make it a lot easier. It puts them all in kind of like a media bin on Wix that you can upload files and images and videos and everything all in one place. So that's generally what I recommend doing, and we'll be able to drag these onto the website later on. But starting off, this is the logo I want to use for the icon. If I just say choose file, it should scale it down relatively well. So it looks like it might be a little bit weird there, but I think it's going to show up right when we're on the browser. So we are just going to save this, and we're going to click on the X to go back to the editor. And then going across the top, we also have the save button up there. Make sure you always hit save. It should auto save, but I recommend clicking save on your own just in case like your computer dies or something. You don't want to lose any work, especially if you just did something kind of significant. So continuing across the top, we have tools. The first one is the toolbar, which is kind of that thing on the right side that honestly, I don't really use this that often. So I generally like to just kind of hide that whenever I need it, or if you did accidentally hide it, you can always just find it again, going up to tools, clicking on toolbar, and it'll show up. Same thing with layers. I don't really use layers much, so I like to hide that. Rulers is something I do like to use, but you can see like the grid lines here are going to be kind of guiding you with your website. If you don't like those, very easy to hide, but snapping to objects, using grid lines and using rulers really helps to make your website look more symmetric. So on like the right side there, you see all these numbers. Those are the pixels counting down from, or counting up from the top. So if you want to space something out evenly, you can start at like 100 pixels, maybe go at something else at 300 pixels, something else at 500 pixels, and that way you have these lines going horizontally that you can then drag and snap things to. So you can drag this till we get to exactly 500, or honestly just close enough, so like 300, somewhere around there. And then we can click and drag the text until you see the magenta line shows up. So it shows you that it's centered vertically and centered horizontally with the line that we're looking for. And we can easily just align each item with that so that they're evenly spaced. It's a great way to, again, make your website look a little bit more balanced, a little bit more evenly spaced, but it's something that you don't need necessarily for everything. So if you want to get rid of these, you just go head on over to the right and click on them and then hit the delete button. Also, there's a little trash can that shows up. You might see that. You can click on that as well, but I'm just going to click on this and delete it. And then we can do the same thing on the top as well. If you want to add like a line for to make thirds or something on your website, very easy to add those. There should by default kind of be like a center line already, so I don't usually add those. Most of my stuff is either centered or left or right justified. Continuing across the top, dev mode, don't worry about that. Help, we really don't need to worry about that much right now either. And then upgrade, which we will do later on in the video.